I'm not aware of it. But what it is, my new fantasy, the fantasy in relationships is the other, it's still the other, should not make me feel bad. That's my new, the fantasy. Aloha, Alex here with Aloha Speaks. And the topic being the fantasy is regarding, and it says in the parentheses, RE: regarding relationships. But there's a dash because it says can be spread broader. It can apply to just about anything. But I'm going to keep it focused on the relationship thing because it started very young in childhood. The fantasy thing, of course. It was other people's stuff. And coming from the TV, I mean, I had 3 channels in my age. That was it, but it still was enough to get things rolling. That, this thing about relationships, that, all happy ending kind of thing. You fall in love and everything's peachy keen, and how it was on the TV. So the thing is that it starts as a child, but in teenage years, those hormones come shooting in there, and it's like nobody taught me about hormones, but even if they did, what difference would it have made? It does what it does, and the drive is there, and it's like, okay, there's a need for somebody else to make me feel good. It's like the fantasy needs to begin unfolding, because there's going to be a happy ending. Oh yeah, they say that, but no, I'm saying actually play out this unfolding of like, yes, let's have this relationship where you are my everything, and I am your everything, and you are mine, and I am yours, and it's so much fantasy, not having any basis whatsoever in reality. Especially with those hormones, it's believed. I mean, it's felt. It's like, yes, this is going to go happen. And so much pain, so much suffering ends up resulting because none of it can't possibly. The expectations. Point is, that whole thing that goes on, strangely enough, it for me carried on into adulthood. I didn't let go of that, even if the hormones chilled out. The fantasy stayed to where, well, let's go on to okay, that wasn't the right person. The next person, because that just wasn't right. Okay, so the other person, the quotes I have here, is the other, whoever it is, will fulfill. So if one isn't right, then I've got to find the right one. That will fulfill me. Fantasy still is a fantasy because it has no basis in reality. I keep singing, looking for love in all the wrong places. It's not that there's anything wrong with having a relationship. It's where I'm coming from, that I'm looking for something that is a fantasy. So it's the fantasy that I didn't give up as an adolescent, that I got in childhood, that I'm carrying with me, and I'm not letting go of that fantasy. So this goes on, and it keeps not working and not working. So it's painful, and it's painful over and over again, until maybe I learn. I'm like, okay, there's something wrong with where I'm coming from. So I'm growing up. I grow up. I say, okay, that's not going to happen. I change my the fantasy to a different the fantasy. I still am going to have a fantasy. The fantasy now becomes, instead of the other will fulfill, it becomes, and just like when I had the other will fulfill, I wasn't aware of it. It's just, I was just living. I look back now and I see that's what it was. Now I go into this new one and I'm not aware of it. But what it is, my new fantasy, the fantasy in relationships is the other, it's still the other, should not make me feel bad. That's my new the fantasy. Don't make me feel bad. Why would you do that? Don't you love me? I love you. Stop doing those things. And I'll even communicate them to you so that you can learn exactly what it is that makes me feel bad, so that you can stop doing them. That's my new the fantasy. I'm not calling it that. I'm not aware of it. That's what it becomes. Come to base. Not even at all in reality. Because it's impossible for anybody else to make me feel bad, feel good, feel anything. Feelings only come from me. So, I get to go through that suffering and misery and play out that because I'm still in the fantasy world. And I keep going and going, and I'm growing. Maybe I'm even growing up until I get to a point. I'm getting older now. Now I'm getting old enough that maybe I even grow enough to grow up and out of that fantasy, and I go into a new, different, the fantasy. And my new, the fantasy is I will live forever. Not consciously. I don't sit there and go that I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to live forever. No, of course, because that would not be, that would make me crazy. Because that's not going to happen. It's in my behavior, my fantasy. Because it shows up. How? How does it show up? in not taking care of myself, in putting it off, in procrastinating, in even wasting my time with blaming other people for how I feel, in spending any amount of time in anything other than gratitude. In any misery or suffering of any form based on unconsciousness. Any fantasy. That's why this can be spread broader. But when it comes to relationships, my opportunity is to take 100% responsibility and be in that gratitude at all times, knowing how short this life is. Not wasting a moment. Being grateful for any precious moment I have with this person, that person, or in any moment I may have alone with myself. It doesn't matter. The fantasy will always be a fantasy. This life will always be precious. Until next time, aloha.